What movie? Oh, it will never be the same, or it won't be the same. It will. It will never. It will be. It won't be the same. It's never the same.
So that's all the titles that Kaylee thinks this movie is. What the real title is Things Will Be Different, which, as you can tell, it's
Sorry.
not even close, but that's all
I'm
right.
sorry. I was trying
Um,
to remember it. Oh my
that's
god.
such a perfect intro. I love it so much. Reminds me of my mom with movie titles. So funny.
Oh my
Just not
god.
even close.
Me reminding you of your mom. Not good.
Not all right. Enough of that. Anyway, so this movie is about a brother and a sister, and they are on the run with some money,
Mm-hmm.
and they are gonna go to this house. And there's a plan in place, and it getting to the point of it all, to not delay this anymore. Some time travels involved,
Yeah.
and they kind of get stuck
Mm.
in time, sort of. So this is a very, very complex film when it
Mm.
comes to the time travel aspect. If you watched a movie like Tenant,
Mm.
and you were confused, then this is also going to confuse you when it comes to the time travel aspect. So, what I really enjoyed about this film, and this is like my favorite aspect of the film, is a good script is better than anything else, right?
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
this movie utilizes a house in the middle of nowhere and like a safe and a tape recorder and a chain and a couple hunting rifles, which I'm sure the freaking directors owned, and nothing. Like the movie literally just has like a house and a couple small little things that are probably laying around their house, right? And they're able to turn it into this super complex, very, like, I don't want to, it is confusing, but I don't want it to
Mm.
sound like a negative. I was very intrigued by the time travel and the way that they explain it. This reminds me a lot of a movie called Primer. For
Mm.
anyone who loves like um indie hard sci-fi like this that deals with time travel and trying new things with it, I think this is totally going to be up your alley.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
you know I'm a big fan of movies like that, that utilize really great concepts and don't really need anything to pull it off,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're able to take, because this movie, you could make this movie for nothing, right? And I'm sure they did. I'm sure the budget on this is nothing, and it doesn't matter. You don't need $100 million to put tons of special effects on the screen. Like, they literally just walk into a closet and then they're like back in time, right? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter because they explain it well enough. The dialogue is being delivered well enough, and it's written well enough that you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You totally embrace what little budget they have. But I think, putting that aside, I think the actors and the way this is shot is very top notch.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you said it well in the beginning about how like this is one of those films that just proves that like talent and a good script is really all you need to make a film. I think that the performances from the two main characters in this, who I mean, like they're the whole movie.
Yeah,
There
99.9%
there's
of the
like
film.
a couple other people, but I loved their performances. I think that they really played well off of each other, and I was really invested in their relationship. It's a brother and sister relationship, which I feel like I don't see a lot of in movies, and I am a big fan of like sibling relationships being explored because I think you get a lot of when it comes to like family stuff. There's a lot of like father and child or mother and child type stuff, but not a lot of like brother and brother, sister and sister. At least in horror, I feel.
Mhm.
Um, maybe I'm wrong on that. But anyway, I also really loved the time travel aspect too. As you said, I do think that some people will be confused by parts of it, and I'm not definitely
So
not
are we.
claiming to. Yeah, there's definitely parts that I'm like I don't understand, but it's kind of in a good way. Like it's not a totally bad not understanding because I don't feel like uh I kind of feel like I don't get it because I'm not smart enough, I guess. Versus like I don't think that the film does a bad job at representing the time travel. I think I maybe just was like not paying as close attention in certain parts as
Things are
I could have
purposely
been.
vague,
Yeah,
I
there is
feel.
some vagueness for sure. But that's kind of what I mean about it not being it's still enjoyable because there's an ambiguity to things that I like. And I also think that time travel in general, especially when it's done like realistically or in like a I don't know, I guess realistic isn't the word I'm looking for, but in a serious manner, I think it's hard to pull it off because I think no matter what, people are going to be questioning like the logic of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Versus like if it's like a comedy time travel, like Bill and Ted's, it's like they'll set up like some rules, and be like, this is what happens, and like you just kind of like accept like, okay, like they're time traveling, and like I'm not gonna think too deeply into it. But when it's like a serious film, you're like, wait, but then how
you
does
overanalyze.
and who was and why did? So
This movie gives like no hand holding
no, it
to the
doesn't. It
explanations of
doesn't.
anything, right? Like you kind of just roll with it or you don't, right? So if you are watching this and you're expecting there to be some concrete answers to how all of this works, because it's not just time travel. There is a totally different element that does kind of like it sort of reminds me of Tenant in a
Mm,
way, because it does feel so unique in the way that the time travel is being done, and I can't really touch upon it, but it's the way they're interacting with it and it coming from multiple different ways, and you're like, how the fuck is this working?
yeah.
And that stuff I don't have an answer for, and I don't know if there is an answer
Mm,
exactly. I think I might. I don't know how to answer it, to be completely honest, and I don't think that you're supposed to know. And that could feel lazy, but I don't know. I think it's so stylish and cool that
yeah.
I don't really care, right? Like when I
Mm.
watched Tenet, I had that same kind of feeling of like, you know, do I get all of this? No. No,
Well,
of
and
course not. But
the,
do I care? No. I'm vibing with it, so
yeah.
fuck it.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that just kind of like how Tenet is a vibes movie? I think this that can be applied to this one as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of it that I think you can just kind of feel out and get into the flow of the film,
Yeah.
and I think it works in that aspect too. And yeah, I think like there's some really cool like shots in this, like cinematography of like characters like looking straight into the camera when
Mm-hmm.
they're talking to other characters, and I really liked that aspect of it. I just think that it was very stylized and very unique,
Yeah.
and it's a really dark film too. I like the color grading of everything.
Yeah.
Definitely feels I don't know,
It's a very
feels like you're
somber film.
lost in time.
Yeah. Yes,
So
it
yeah,
does. Yeah.
you're like
It
in
has an out of time
grayscale.
film
Hmm.
feel to it. Yeah, it's a very somber film.
Yeah.
Another film I think that I haven't read any reviews or anything on this film. It doesn't come out till November 18th. For those of you who are waiting to see it. Um, but another film that I would liken it to for sure, that I think it's going to get likened to most obviously, is the film Time Crimes. Now that is not a spoiler, I promise. I think people will think like, oh, now I know what it's about. No, 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 no. You're going to see similarities, but I'm not giving away something. But I need to show Kaylee Time Crimes because I think it's one of the best uh, low budget time travel movies.
Hmm.
It's very, very cool. So if you like time crimes, if you like Primer, if you like, oh, there was another one. Time Lapse is another one I love. That one's with the camera and Daniel Panabaker. I love that one. But there's another one I'm trying to remember what it's called. That's also like kids time traveling, and they're like at a college. And if you guys can remember what that movie is called, it also reminded me of that one. But yeah, I mean, playing with time
Ah. It's
It never
dangerous.
goes well.
No, it doesn't.
Unless you got a time turner and Hermione Granger.
Ah,
That's like
yes.
one of the only times I've ever seen it go pretty
Well,
flawlessly.
like,
Like they didn't really have any issues, right?
no.
Like Marty McFly runs into a
Oh
lot of
my
issues,
gosh.
even though it ends up turning out okay. Takes 3 fucking movies to fix it. But with Hermione, I feel like they run into zero issues
It's
with the
pretty cut
time.
and
It's
dry.
pretty cut and dry, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely the classic. Don't fuck with time.
Yes.
And there is a revelation that's made very close to the end
Oh, it's so messed up.
that
It's
I didn't
so
really
messed
see
up.
coming in the
Yeah.
moment when a character says it to another character, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I know where this is heading
Yeah.
now.
It's
um,
bad.
so really, really great utilization of no budget and just
Mhm.
a smart script with great actors.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is the kinds of movies that I love.
Me
You
too. I
know,
love finding these like low budget indie films. Yeah.
yeah, it's like Resolution
Mm.
from Benson and Moorhead. Who made The
Mm.
Endless and
Yeah, that's actually a really good comparison. I feel like this is like on par with those
yeah,
movies, and I really love those films. So I think, yeah, if you like those, this would be right up your alley too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
that's really good.
So definitely look forward to this one if those are your type of movies. If you're not into this type of shit, you find that these are way too like convoluted or confusing, or you need more of a flashy budget and more going on, because it is a very like slow and reflective and
Mm-hmm.
somber film.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot here to digest and probably would do very well with a couple watches.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things will be different, or whatever the fuck Kaylee said.
Things will be different.
Let's go back in time and do this again.
All right.
I just pop up behind the
Oh my
couch.
god, I'd punch you.
Both of me, or
Both of
the
you.
old one, or the new
Both.
one, or am
Which
I the
one's the
new one,
new?
or the
I don't like it.
wait?
I don't like it.
All right, Apex time. See you in the comments. Bye.
Bye.